in Cabinet, Dr. L. Muruganji, Union Minister of State for Fisheries, Animal Husbandry, Dairying, Information and Broadcasting. Seated on the dais, Shri Thangam Thenarasuji, Honorable Minister of Industries, Tamil Official Language and Tamil Culture and Archaeology. My senior colleague in Parliament, and for someone who has personally known the family for 3 generations now, my grandmother, my father, and now myself, my respected colleague, my respected senior colleague, P.R. Balu Sahib, Dr. Kanimozi NVN Somuji, my colleague in the Rajya Sabha, Sanjeev Kumarji, Chairman of Airports Authority of India, and most importantly, our stakeholders and the civil aviation fraternity present here on this very important day of development and progress in Chennai. Today, as I mentioned, is a landmark day. A landmark day as according to Dr. Kanimozi ji, who traced the history of this airport all the way from 1913 till today. Development, progress is a never-ending chakra, a wheel. And in that never-ending chakra and that wheel of progress, we as policy makers, we as public representatives must ensure that the nirantarata, the continuity of that wheel of progress, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji calls it, must continue through time. It also is my honor to be present in Chennai today. Chennai, which is known in many ways as the cornucopia of cultures. One of the longest traditions of history. One of the longest traditions of culture. And truly a Navratna, not only in Tamil Nadu's landscape, not only in India's landscape, but I would not be amiss in saying, but truly a Ratna in the global landscape. It indeed is the powerhouse of Tamil Nadu. And as my colleague Thenarasuji said, Chennai and Tamil Nadu are two sides of the same coin in terms of development and progress. And the paradigm of this state's contribution to the national development goal has historically been tremendous. Chennai today is the gateway to the south of India, and not only is it the gateway to the south of India, but is the center of excellence of educational institutions. It is the center of the automobile and technology industry, and where we have human resource, where we have industrial and manufacturing capability. It is also the center of tourism and culture. Now that capability, that spectrum, if you may call it, very few cities have, let alone in India, but in the world. The combination of antiquity, the combination of tradition and culture with modernity, with innovation, with capability to make a paradigm shift. That is what Chennai represents, not to Tamil Nadu, not to India, but to the world. And therefore it is indeed my honor whenever I get an opportunity. The problem is that Baluji and Thenarasuji and Dr. Kanimozi don't call me enough. When the one time that I am here, they certainly rightfully and dutifully put across all their demands. But indeed, it is a pleasure to be here amongst all of you. And the capabilities and the possibilities of Chennai are tremendous. And why do I say that? On the one hand, you have Europe and the Middle East. On the other hand, you have the Far East and Australia. And Chennai is the city that can be a bridge between those continents and these continents. That is the international capability and contribution and the role that Chennai can play. And it is with that in mind that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has specially put a thrust in the area of civil aviation. In 67 years of India's independence, we built 74 airports in our country. In the last 8.5 years, ladies and gentlemen, in the last 8.5 years, with the Prime Minister's thrust on infrastructure, the Prime Minister's thrust on what we saw in the audiovisual, Gati Shakti, speed and power for infrastructure, for logistics. In the last 8.5 years, where we built 74 airports, in 67 years, in the last 8.5 years, we have built 73 airports, waterdromes and helipads. We are one short of doubling our numbers. 74 versus 147. And I guarantee you that that 148th airport, where we will double that number, will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister himself in this month of February, in the coming days. So where the length and breadth and depth of civil aviation infrastructure has grown tremendously. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Assam to Arunachal Pradesh. There were states in India that did not have a single airport. Difficult for us to believe. Arunachal Pradesh did not have a single airport. Sikkim did not have a single airport. Today Arunachal Pradesh has 3 airports. That is the power of change that our government has brought about. So where airport infrastructure has grown, and in that race, if I may use the word, the contribution of the central government towards Tamil Nadu. We have today 9 functional airports in Tamil Nadu. The portfolio has grown, the breadth has grown, the depth has grown. So the Prime Minister is committed to every single citizen across the length and breadth of India. So where the infrastructure of airports has grown, our fleet size is also grown. From a fleet size of only short of 400 aircraft in 2014 We are today upwards of 700 aircraft in the country. And we will grow at an acquisition rate of 100 to 125 aircraft per year. And over the next 7 years, India that had only 400 aircraft will have 2,000 aircraft in this country over the next 7 to 10 years. Penetration on last mile connectivity is good. And such is the case with Chennai as well. Chennai in 2014 was connected to only 36 cities across India and the country. Today the same Chennai, in the last 8.5 years of our government, is connected to 61 cities across the country and across the world. Domestic connectivity in Chennai airport alone, measured in air traffic movements per week, has grown by 19% over the same period. And so today we add another jewel to that portfolio in terms of the multi-level car parking facility that all of us on the dais together have just inaugurated. It is a 250 crore investment by Airports Authority of India and the lessee, and along with that houses close to 2,150 cars built in 2 blocks, east and west. Most modern facility with a digital dashboard that shows incoming, arrival and departure flights. Also a waiting area for our taxis that in the summer heat of Chennai can be comfortably placed within the multi-level car parking facility, using the washrooms, the dining facilities. I met some of the people today. The warmth of our youngsters, our youth, that are today manning those facilities. World-class cuisines that have been put in place. Local flavors. Our sambar chawal, our filter coffee, all available within the MLCP facility. And as I mentioned, it's a state-of-the-art facility. It has a 3-level green rating for the integrated habitat assessment called GRIHA. Along with that, it has central parking management systems that show you on a dashboard the green slots which are empty and the red slots are occupied. It has electric vehicle charging facilities. It has building management systems. So all modern systems are in place in this parking facility. And it also has an area for our specially abled users, designated parking spaces for them, looking at the impetus that we give to inclusivity in travel. That as far as e-parking facilities are concerned. But our ministry and our government under the leadership of the Prime Minister is focused on connectivity with convenience. And therefore Chennai today has 2 terminals, domestic and international. Our capability is 23 million passengers throughput per year. And it gives me great pleasure in mentioning here that 23 million passenger throughput capability with 36 movements per hour over the next 2 years will be increased to 35 million throughput capability with 45 movements per hour in place with an investment of 2,500 crores in the days to come. This will be in 2 phases. The first phase will be ready by March of this year, where all of us will gather again, and the second phase will be ready by the end of next year. Today, as I mentioned, Chennai is connected to 43 domestic airports and 18 international airports. Our air traffic movements are close to 2,736 per week. But this connectivity is not only to Tier 1 cities and international cities. The Prime Minister's visionary project of UDAN, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik, every single citizen must have the right to use aviation infrastructure. And the biggest step that has been taken in the last 8 years is the democratization of civil aviation travel. Through Udan, we have connected 8 routes from Chennai already. And in Tamil Nadu, we will be connecting another 8 routes in the days to come. On international connectivity, we have connected Chennai with Paris and France 5 times of Frankfurt, 5 times a week as opposed to the initial 3 times a week. And therefore this demand and thirst for travel is going to grow. We have forecasted by 2030 our current capacity of 200 million passengers, international and domestic, will grow to 400 million. From the hinterland, through last mile connectivity, we are pushing forward on helicopter travel. Bangalore airport is connected to Bangalore city by helicopter service today. Mumbai and Pune is connected by helicopter service today. Hilly states like Uttarakhand, Himachal, Jammu Kashmir and the northeast, connectivity is increasing by helicopters. Last mile connectivity by sub 20-seater aircraft. Civil aviation story is not only about wide-bodied aircraft that we see, narrow-bodied aircraft in terms of Airbus and Boeing aircraft that we see, but the civil aviation story has to be about last-mile connectivity till your village. And therefore, we have introduced a new small aircraft scheme which is for sub 20-seater aircraft to connect the hinterland of India with the main tier 1 cities in India. We have just released close to 184 routes in Udan 4.2, 16 helicopter routes, 50 seaplane routes, and 180 small sub 20-seater aircraft routes. That will engage the proliferation of civil aviation traffic. Now there are many issues that have been raised on this podium today by our respected representatives. Let me start with connectivity across Tamil Nadu. As I mentioned, we have 9 civil aviation airports now in Tamil Nadu, but there is a thirst for growth. I met with Adarnya Thanarasuji in Delhi, and we have engaged with each other to make sure that this proliferation happens. But there are critical bottlenecks to growth, and that is where the state government has to come forward. Let me give you this guarantee from the central government side, that we are not as eager as you, but even more eager than you, to promote last mile connectivity in Tamil Nadu. But I mentioned to you in my meeting, and I am mentioning it again today, partner with us, work with us, so that together we can engage and provide facilities to every single citizen in Tamil Nadu. 9 airports are established, but there is thirst for more. There is thirst for expansion. There is thirst for growth. And there should be thirst for growth. There should be thirst for expansion. There are many airports where we want to expand. Chennai for one. We have invested 2,500 crores. We are taking Chennai's capability up from 23 million to 35 million throughput capability. I mentioned to Baluji on the stage today, it's my ambition to make sure that Chennai develops as the foremost hub of civil aviation in India after Delhi and Bombay. But you need to help me for that growth to come about. Whether it is for terminal expansion, I would like Chennai not to be a 35 million throughput airport, even though we have spent 2,500 crores. The Prime Minister's insistence is very clear. Set tall targets, achieve those tall targets. It's my desire that Chennai should be a 55 million throughput capability airport. And therefore I beseech you that we need 200 acres of land to make sure that that is possible. Come forward and assist us on that, and we will make that dream come true together. Similar is the case with Trichy. In Trichy we need to increase the runway length to be able to make sure that we get wide-bodied aircraft to land in Trichy. And in Trichy there is a requirement of 512 acres to be exact. Please facilitate us on that end, and we will make sure that expansion happens. In Madurai, the government has come forward. We had asked for 633 acres. Out of that, close to 540 acres have been given, but the balance 90 acres, if you can transfer to us, because the work cannot start until all the land has been transferred to us. So please kindly come forward and assist on that. In Coimbatore, for expansion of runway length, we require 630 acres, and therefore that demand remains to be fulfilled as well. In Tuticorin, again the government has come forward to assist us. Of our demand of 700 crores, 700 acres, 604 acres have been transferred. But the balance 96 acres need to be transferred so that we can build the new terminal building of 13,530 square meters at a cost of 173 crores and expand the runway. And finally, as I mentioned, that we need to ensure that civil aviation infrastructure is exhaustive. It is inclusive. And in Vellore we have built the RCS terminal, the Regional Connectivity Service Terminal. And there we require close to about 200 acres of land. And if that is supplied to us, then that connectivity will also increase very steadfastly. Along with these necessary requirements, Dr. Kanimozhi Somuji also pointed out the issues of congestion with regard to Chennai Airport. Let me assure you, Madam, that Airports Authority of India is working in right earnest. As of today, we have just inaugurated the new domestic-to-domestic terminal within Chennai. And therefore, none of our passengers within the Chennai airport will ever again have to experience congestion, because they can seamlessly transfer from one area of the airport into the next departure lounge so that they can catch the next flight. Along with that, we have also placed an extra ATRS machine for security processing, so that there is no issue with regard to lines. And along with that, you had also mentioned the issue of airfare. Let me take this opportunity, because you have given me and reminded me of the fervent request that I made to my good friend, the Minister of Industry, when he came to see me 4 or 5 years ago. Kanimozhi ji talked about the rise in airfares. Please help me reduce that by the state government reducing VAT on air turbine fuel in Tamil Nadu from 29% to 1%. If that is done, then your airfares will also reduce, and your capability in Tamil Nadu will certainly reduce. You have to join hands to make sure success happens. You have to work together. And through this munch, I would like to thank all state governments that have worked arduously with us. In July of last year, year before last, in 2021, we had 12 states in our country. Only 12 states that charged VAT between 1 to 4%. We had 24 states that charged VAT between 25 to 30%. Working with every state government, imploring them, requesting them, I'm glad to report to you today that 17 state governments out of 24 have moved from a VAT regime of 25 to 30% to 1 to 4%. And in India today, we have 29 states that only charge VAT on ATF between 1 to 4%. And we have only 7 states left in our country that charge VAT between 20 to 30% at the airports, and Tamil Nadu is one of them. So please come forward and reduce your VAT, and you will see the multipliers that you will have in aviation in terms of connectivity and in terms of increased revenue for yourself. And let me give you an example. Jammu and Kashmir, Union Territory, reduced VAT in J&K from 25% to 1%. Within 2 weeks of reducing VAT, their revenue from refueling in Srinagar and Jammu airport went up by 360%. So the economic argument of reducing tax rates and increasing revenue is pertinent to civil aviation, and I'm sure the same thing will happen in Tamil Nadu when you reduce your VAT on ATF. Join with us, partner with us to provide facilities to the people of Tamil Nadu, and I'm confident that Tamil Nadu, the same progress that it has made with 9 airports, the connectivity will keep increasing. Today is a wonderful day where I'd like to thank everyone present here, wish you all the best, and congratulations to Airport Authority of India for